Hi there, in this quick video I'm going to show you how to set up a W-9 request for taxpayer identification number and certification, W-9 for electronic signature using SwiftCloud. It's actually very simple. We have it as a template and this can be done in minutes. And we also have a $1 trial so you can try out the system, see how you like it, and get it set up. So let's dive in. Step one is to get signed up if you haven't, and then to get logged in. Once you do, you'll see a page that looks something like this. On the very far left, you'll see what looks like 3 dinner plates. That's a drive icon. Go ahead and click that, and then click drive. Once you do, in the very top right of that section, so in the very top right, you see a icon for templates. Go ahead and click that. Inside the templates section, you'll see a folder called Government Forms. Go ahead and click that. Go ahead and click USA. Inside that, you'll see W-9. And either on the far right or right here, you'll see an icon to clone this into my account. As soon as you click that, it's going to ask what folder do you want to clone it into. So you've got a bunch of different folders here. This is a kind of a testing account, but basically choose a folder. In most cases, you might want to just dump it to your root. That's fine. Go ahead and hit clone. It's going to tell you that it was successful. It's going to redirect you. First, we've got a couple sections on the page, and the pink box, let me go through these. So this is the actual document. It's for most documents on SwiftCloud. It's actually better to use the responsive document system, and we've got separate videos that talk about that. The upside is they'll render nicely on a phone, on a tablet, on a variety of devices, and they'll just always look good because they fit themselves to the device. In the case of a PDF, this is overhanging, and there's nothing we can do about that because we need to match the original source. Now I'm on a large screen, so I can just size this out and make it fit. But just be advised that this isn't going to look as good on a phone or a tablet, and there really isn't a solution because it needs to match the original source, and we cannot allow the signature to not match the exact document. We, as a company, have to certify and stand behind that somebody's signer intent matches the document that they signed, and therefore in the case of PDFs it has to match exactly, and therefore that can't size to the device. I'm saying all of that because I'm encouraging you to use our general e-signature system, which uses WordPress style shortcodes. But nonetheless, you're watching this video because you need a specific government form like a W-9, and so if that's the case, then no problem, we've got a system for you. If you needed to add any fields, right here up at the big orange button, you can certainly do so. We've got general fields and we've got specific reserved fields, and the reserved fields will save to the user's contacts, right? So on the far left side, so things like phone and email and address, that kind of thing, we want to use specific fields for that so that it flows into the person's contact info. What we do is we overlay the signature fields on top of this. So when you convert a PDF initially, if you're converting your own PDF, not using one of our templates, then you will have to add all the fields on top of it and drag them into place and then save the document. To drag fields into place, just go ahead and click this, the arrows, and if you wanted to set the field settings, such as whether a field is required or not, or the actual variable information that's here, if you wanted to remove a field, you could do that here. Next thing we need to do is define what happens for the user after they have signed. In our case, we want to go to this page after signature for their own payment because they've got their own payment system. Note, if you just want to collect money using PayPal, then SwiftCloud has a very basic payment and shopping cart system, and as long as you're using PayPal, it's fine. We will add more payment gateways very soon, spring of 2019. Anyway, what we want to do is copy this section ending, and we want to get back to here, and we want to drop that in here. So notice that there's a slash in the middle. So here's the root URL, and assuming that you went through the setup wizard, then you will have your main website URL here on the left, and then we've got a slash, and then we've got the actual page. So point being is when you put in no trailing slash at the beginning, just so that altogether it looks like one complete URL. Next, we want to define the email that the signer will get. So this entire box is for them. That's for the signer. And in this case, we'll just leave it as the default. I'll let the client modify that as needed, but this is, of course, customizable, and this will greet them. So if they sign as John Doe, then it's going to say, "Hi there, John." And it's going to capitalize the first letter, so if they put in all capitals or all lowercase, it's going to automatically kind of make it look more human. And this is, of course, an autoresponder, and then it'll include an attachment of the PDF that they signed. Next this is for you. So what do you want to happen? If you wanted to email multiple people, then you could certainly do that here. Last is using your form, and this is the URL that you're going to actually want to send people to. We've got a few other tools. The tracking URL help you set up Google Analytics tracking, which may be helpful for tracking goals, right? If this represents a sale for you, then you would do well to use tracking URLs and kind of set that up. If you need advanced options like language settings, that kind of thing, then we've got additional options kind of hidden away here in the more options section. And we've got history that'll soon include the save history of the document, and spring or summer, we will have version control. So if you needed to go back a version or two, you can. For now, there is no version control, so just be careful and be advised that it's something we're working on, but we're not yet there. So to see the front end, all you got to do is hit preview, and this is the PDF that is signable. Once somebody signs, then they will get dumped on, in this case, this page. All right, here I'm going to actually sign this document just so that I have the example PDF, but basically I can go out and fill all this information in. Go ahead and sign it right here. The date is filled in automatically. I can't change that even if I wanted to. That's intentional. I don't think, well, I guess it'll let me change it. It'll let me override it if I wanted to. We do have options to allow editing or not. As soon as they hit send, think for a second, crunch this in, take a snapshot of it, issue a digital signature to go with the electronic signature for this W-9, and then dump us on the page that we set in the pink box. So now once somebody has signed, a couple things are going to happen. Number one, this is going to get added into the incoming folder of both your drive and their drive. So what's going to happen is we're going to create an account for them and then dump this into it, and then within it is the actual PDF that they signed. We also have all of the fields of information. So this is a CSV sheet, this green icon here, and that's in case you wanted to import this data into something else. So for certain complex forms like a mortgage 1003, for example, that has really a lot of fields, you may want to import that into some other program, then you could certainly do so. And here's the actual, if you wanted to see the actual PDF, go ahead and open this. I'm using Firefox, so here's the actual signed PDF. And there's my signature. So you and the signer will typically get a copy of that. So in this case, here's the actual signature. This is the email that I got. This is the signed PDF. Worth noting on the back end is this is also saved in here, and then if we wanted to see any history, if we wanted to make some notes or something like that, then we could do that here. Just add a private note. That would save into this workroom. And notice this is private. We do have private or public, which is anybody with access. So in this case, it would be saved to John Doe. So we can see John Doe. So this is World Walleye. That's the actual client. And then Heather Scott. That's because it knew the email that I used was an existing user. In this case, Heather helps us with support. So that's why it overrode John Doe, even though it says John Doe here, because that's what the person signed as. But if we know who they are, then we're going to show them that existing user here. So it is a true social network, so it's like Facebook or LinkedIn or something like that in this regard. So we are actually looking up the existing user. Here's the actual files, and then the history is, of course, right here. So if you have any questions, hope that helps you get your W-9s set up, and enjoy. If you have any questions, drop us a line.